Hi guys, back again. So I decided to do another video about how to get into half moon pose. So in this flow video I do half moon, and I noticed that in a lot of classes, even in my own class that I teach, and I can't get around to some students, we can't get into half moon, maybe because we don't know, maybe because our bodies won't allow us to open up and rotate the hip open like other people can. So it's just about understanding your own body, and hopefully this video can help you strengthen your pose, or maybe do it correctly if you weren't doing it correctly and you didn't know how to, because a lot of students just say to me, that's how you do it. So whatever which way this will help you, I hope it does. So I'm going to show you and break down half moon pose, and if you have a block or a book that's pretty thick, please bring it along to this practice video of how to do half moon pose. See you on the mat. So I want to do a quick little demo about half moon, because I feel like some of us struggle in it, and almost all yoga classes do half moon. It's a really lovely pose if it's done correctly, but it's okay like if you're not doing it correctly. A lot of us do it incorrectly. Yeah, so most importantly is to use props. I love props. I don't necessarily need them in my practice because I have super long monkey arms and not so long legs, so realistically there's not much effort for me to touch the floor because I can touch my feet pretty quickly. So it just really depends on your body type and shape. Some of us have long torsos or short torsos, some of us have really long legs and not so long arms or torsos, so it really depends on your body. So don't judge based on what the person's doing next to you. If you need a block, use a block. You can use books if you don't even have blocks at home. So with half moon, use a block. And the most important thing to do with the block is to make sure that when you place it underneath for your practice, when you need it, make sure that it's stacked so that it has a lot more control. Like some of us use it like this, but I tend to think that it's a bit wobbly. Unless you're using like a strong heavy block, if it's one of these foam ones, they're not really sturdy to hold your balance, so you just might feel like more rocky and not secure. So find either hard block that's sturdy so it can hold your weight when you're pushing on it like this, or get two blocks or two foam blocks and double them up so that your whole hand can feel the weight being distributed correctly. So again, making sure your wrist and your shoulder, they're not like leaning too far forward. They're not like reaching for the block, or whatever. Make sure that they're pretty much in a line so that you can really feel strong when you start to lift that back leg. So a lot of us here tend to still have our hips dropped and we're doing half moon like this. And that's okay, and you're doing technically half moon, but what we really want is for the hip to open up. So you really want to rotate your hip open. Now, some of us have really tight hips, so your hips will like curl in and not as open. So you might need to just practice a little bit more to open your hips. So it really just depends on how open your hips are will determine how much you can open up into your half moon pose. And obviously by doing half moon, it's a really good hip opener for this purpose in our practice. So if you want to open up your hips, it's a really good one in a balance. So not trying to drop the hip, trying to open up the hip. And then remembering to keep this leg nice and strong. So the foot is flexed. It's not pointed, it's flat. And it's pulling and kicking up. So sometimes we also find it hard to kick up because our hips are not really open enough for it to kick up. So it just kind of like goes out to the side. So making sure that your hip is open. When it is open, then you can pull the leg up. And then the left arm is also pulling up. So essentially you're trying to pull this hand off eventually. But essentially grip the mat, and then when you feel like you've got it, start playing with your gaze. So have your gaze straight forward, or you can turn your gaze to the side if it really hurts your neck. If this really hurts your neck, don't bother, just look straight down. But you can look to the top of the fingertips and then release. Start to burn. So other side, so you can see me do it in the other leg. So making sure again your wrist and your shoulder are in a straight line, and your hips are naturally in the place where your hips would be if your hands and shoulders were down on the mat. And then you're lifting your right leg up, and then you're opening up your hip, so you're rotating your hip open. And then you're flexing your foot, flexing this leg, keeping it nice and strong. Your right arm's reaching up. So do this in stages. And you can slowly talk to yourself in your practice, like open up a hip, flex the foot. Keep all four corners of the foot down. Make sure my arm's straight and on the line. There's lots of things happening. And then turning your gaze, reaching up, lifting through, so you can eventually lift off and not hold anything. And then release. Fold in. Squeeze yourself into a sandwich when you're just trying to practice to let it go. And that is how we do half moon. So if you have any questions about half moon, please let me know in the comments below, and I'll try to get back to you with any tips and tricks. If you tried them out, let me know so I know that you've tried this video out, and I will make some more for you. See you in the next video. Bye guys.